Although yesterday's big day out in Auckland was rained off, there was some good news for New Zealand's LGBTQI community, with the Minister of Statistics, James Shaw, announcing plans for a sexual identity question to be included in the national census. Mr Shaw says it's too late to change the questions in this year's census, but wants sexual identity included in the next one. That'll be in 2023. The Minister's in our Wellington studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Why is this needed?
Well, actually, that last article pointed in the direction. So we've got to gather this data because we make significant healthcare funding decisions, other public policy decisions in relation to this community, and we don't have granular enough information about it at the moment.
But if this is important, surely you need to try and get it in as soon as possible.
Well, we are, and the census isn't the only way of gathering information. So this year's General Social Survey, which is a significant year-long interview-based survey, will be asking questions around gender identity and sexual orientation, and that will start to gather the data. We're also going to start using it in other, questionnaires and surveys that we do as well.
I guess it depends. You get a different answer depending on what question you ask. But what kind of question do you want put into the census? Well,
the more information that we can get and the more granular it is, the better. I mean, there are different issues affect different parts of the community. So I'll give you an example. We know that there is a waiting list for gender reassignment surgery, but we don't know what the future demand is. The reason why we know there's a waiting list is because there's a waiting list, so we're responding. But if we had a sense of the size of the actual population, we'd be able to work out and start to predict in advance what that demand would be.
So is this something where you essentially see a whole new section being added to the census rather than one or two questions?
Look, as Minister for Statistics, I'm actually barred from suggesting which survey or what types of questions or anything like that. I can say to the department, this is the kind of information that we want to be able to gather. They have been working on that. So what I did last week is I said, simply take the work that you're doing, make sure that it's a priority into the future. And if we can get it into the next census, that would be ideal, because people like to see themselves reflected in the data, particularly a marginalised community like this. But let's keep gathering that data through all of the means that we've got at our fingertips, and they are starting to do that.
Okay, so it's a long time to wait for the census. You'll get some more information coming in. What's the feedback at this stage? Are people receptive to this? Do people understand why you want these kind of questions asked and included?
Yes, they are. I mean, most of the feedback that we're getting is from the rainbow community itself, who are understandably frustrated that it has taken so long to get any kind of real progress on this. I mean, I think, as I remember back as far as 2006 was a question, should it be included in the census? Stats NZ did quite a lot of work in 2015, 16 and 17, sort of trying to work out some of those questions, and then basically couldn't come up in the time available with a statistically robust set of questions. So that's why they've moved to other forms of survey, like the General Social Survey.
Is that going to be the difficulty, getting questions that get the kind of accurate information you need?
Yeah, that is the reason why it's not in this year's census. It's not from a lack of intention. It's because they weren't able to develop something that in a questionnaire type survey, which is the census, that they were getting the kind of information that they needed, that is statistically robust. Whereas the General Social Survey is actually an interview-based survey, and so you can actually sort of get past people's misunderstanding of the question.
Okay, just while you're still here, the Greens co-leadership is coming up. Have you decided who you're voting for yet?
I am staying out of it because obviously I need to work with whoever the eventual winner of that contest is going to be.
Definitely you'll cast a vote though?
I actually haven't decided.
So you might sort of back out of that one?
Well, the voting is actually by branch. It's not by member. So it's sort of an electoral college type arrangement. And in order for me to cast a vote, I would need to go to my local branch, Wellington Central, and cast a vote as part of that. And so because I am the co-leader, and I don't necessarily want to be seen to be influencing, what the membership at large is thinking.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. That's James Shaw. He's the Minister for Statistics, or the Minister of Statistics, and also, of course, co-leader of the Greens.